Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, a few weeks ago, I got a request from one of my viewers to make Dhalpuri without fresh split peas, but instead use split peas powder. Now, originally, I thought they were a little crazy because what I know Dhalpuri to be is that you need fresh split peas to be boiled and then ground and then stuffed into the roti. However, I got into my kitchen and I decided to do a little bit of recipe testing. And as per this viewer's request, I made a Dhalpuri without boiling and grinding any split peas. I went ahead and used the split peas powder. This Dhalpuri takes about half the time that the normal Dhalpuri takes, and it's just as soft, just as flavorful, and just as tasty. So if you want to see how I put this Dhalpuri together today, go ahead and keep on watching. So the first thing we're going to start to do is go ahead and make our dough. And now since we're not making the traditional Dhalpuri with the actual split peas on the inside, we don't have to start off with boiling any split peas. We could go straight into making the dough. So in my bowl I have some all-purpose flour. I've gone in with my baking powder as well as a little bit of salt and a little bit of white sugar. Now the sugar is optional, but I do find that when you add the sugar and salt together, it does make the dough a little softer than if you didn't add it. But by all means, if you are trying to omit sugar from your diet or you just don't want to add it, you do not have to put it in. Once you add those three ingredients into the flour, you're going to mix it up. And once you've gone ahead and mixed in those dry ingredients, you're going to add in a little bit of oil. Today I am using vegetable oil, but if you wanted to, you could use some coconut oil, olive oil, or even some coconut oil or ghee. It totally depends on what you have in your kitchen and what you want to use. Once you add that in, you're going to mix it up really well and get it combined within the flour. Now once you've mixed in that oil, you're going to add in some very, very warm water a little bit at a time until you get a very soft and sticky dough. Now if you guys watched my first Dhalpuri video, my original Dhalpuri video, which I'll have linked right up here in the right hand corner, you will see that I make the dough very sticky and tacky. The reason why you want to do that is because essentially you want to knead the dough so this way it's not sticking to your hands but it is still very soft. That's going to yield you a very, very soft Dhalpuri in the end. A lot of people tell me why their Dhalpuri comes out stiff and hard in the end. And one of the main reasons is when you make the dough too stiff, also by using cold water. So you want to make sure to use very, very warm water. And once you find that you've added in enough water and you have a nice sticky dough, you're just going to go ahead and keep punching it down, bringing together the edges, and you're going to keep doing that until you get a smooth product. You can add on maybe a little tablespoon of oil just to smoothen it out as well. And here it is, my finished dough. As you guys can see, it's nice and smooth on the top. It's no longer sticking to my fingers. And just like with any type of roti dough, you do not want to fold it over on itself as you're kneading. You want to use my punching method and then flip it over and keep kneading until it comes together just like this. So I'm going to put a damp paper towel over it and I'm going to set it aside while I work on my dal filling. So again, I said that there is no actual split peas being boiled and ground for this recipe, so this is very simple. All you're going to do is take a pan and you're going to fill it up with some water, and then you're going to go in with your split peas powder or the dal powder. Now the water has to come up to a boil before you add it in, so this way it can be hot enough for it to cook a little bit. So as you guys can see, once I added it in, it sucked up that water pretty fast, so you just want to keep on stirring it and keep that heat on a low heat after you add in the dal flour. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is keep mixing it in until it is well combined, and then I'll show you what to do next. So once the split peas powder and that boiling water are mixed together really well, you're going to go ahead and empty it out into a bowl. Now one thing I wanted to mention, if you didn't want it to be this lumpy, you could actually put this mixture in your food processor to grind it up so it could resemble that dal that is usually in the normal Dhalpuri. But if you wanted to, you could just do it as I'm doing here because honestly they came out just as fine by doing it this way. So I put it into the bowl, I added in a little bit of turmeric, also known as dye in Guyana, and then I went in with a paste of hot pepper as well as garlic. Now these are all of the traditional flavorings that Dhalpuri has, so I wanted to add them in just to go ahead and keep mirroring that taste. Now as you guys can see, it is a little bit hard to mix with a spoon, so I just like to go in there with my fingers just to make sure all of those pieces of dal that were mixed in with that water have a lot of seasoning just coating all of it. So I'm going to keep mixing it together until everything is well combined. I also wanted to mention that as usual, all of my ingredients and the measurements will be down in the description box below. So if you decide to make this amazing recipe, you can have access to all of those ingredients and measurements for your ease and for your convenience. And once you mix all of those ingredients in very, very well, you're going to go in with some salt to taste. And I also wanted to mention, if you had some green seasoning or some finely chopped cilantro or scallions, you could add that in here as well. Some people do like to do that whenever they make their dhalpuri filling. And I also went in there with a little bit of ground geera. Now, I did not have the roasted kind on hand. I just went in with the normal ground cumin that you find at the grocery store. But if you have the roasted one, that one is much preferred because it gives such a nutty and rich flavor to that dhalpuri filling. So you're going to mix this together really well, and then we can move on to making the dhalpuri. So once your filling and your dough are done, you're going to want to go ahead and set up a little station. So what I did was I took my dough and I divided it into an equal amount of balls. You can make them as big or as small as you want. I just did it depending on the size of my tawa. My tawa is 12 inches, but if you have a smaller one or a bigger one, you might want to accommodate for the size. So I also have a little bowl of oil that's going to help me fill these as well. And I have that dal filling that I just finished making as well. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and flatten out the edges and leave the middle a little more thick. The reason we do that is so this way after we fill it and pinch it together, the dal can become evenly distributed, and this way when we're rolling it out, the edges will not be too thick. What I like to do is take a spoon and go ahead and rub a little bit of oil on this side. That helps the dal filling to stay loose within the inside. And then you're going to go in with a little helping of that dal filling. Now this is not like a normal dal puri where you're going to have a very crumbly filling. It's going to be a little tacky, and that is totally okay because the dal puri will be just fine. Now once you put in a few tablespoons of that, you're going to go ahead and pinch around the edges of the dough, and you're going to fill it and pinch up the side so this way none of that dal is exposed. Now once you go ahead and do this, you're going to continue doing it with the rest of your dough balls and until all of your dal filling is done. Now the amount of dal filling you add in totally depends on your taste and your preferences. I just like to go in with a moderate amount because I do not like dal spilling out all over the place as I'm eating it. So after a little trial and error of filling these dough balls, I found that the best way to fill them is to go ahead and spread a little bit of oil on the dough ball after you've flattened it out, and then you make the dal into somewhat of a ball shape, so this way it's easier to fill the dough around it. Now once you go ahead and pinch the edges, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is put it down on your work surface, and you want to flatten it down with the palm of your hand. By doing that, you're going to allow all of that dal to be evenly distributed throughout. Alright, so once you finish filling all of your dough balls, you're going to go ahead and start the cooking process. So I have my tawa heating up, and I floured my work surface really well, and I'm rolling out one of those balls of dough. And as you guys can see in the top right hand corner, I do have some dal left in the bowl. That's because I didn't fill all of them yet. I'm going to make a few now, and I'm also going to make a few later because my family wants some to be fresh a little later as well. So while I'm rolling this out, you want to make sure that the board is properly floured, or else if it starts to stick, you will have a mess and it will become very, very hard to roll it out. And you want to make sure as you're rolling to go ahead and get the sides of the dough, so this way you don't have very thick edges on the dal puri. That's what usually causes the dal puri to get hard as well when it starts to sit. And once your tawa is nice and hot, you're going to go ahead and add your dal puri onto the hot tawa. Now remember, if you want to purchase this tawa, I got it from Victoria Cast Iron Products. I'll have them linked down in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and contact them or buy one of these cast iron tawas as well. It cooks all of my rotis and different flatbreads so evenly and well, and I really enjoy it. Now once you go ahead and put the dal puri onto the tawa, you're going to go ahead and let it sit for maybe 10 seconds. You're going to oil that first side that is facing up at you. Then you're going to go ahead and flip it, and then you're going to oil that second side right away. By oiling it this way, you're going to go ahead and allow for that dal puri to be very, very soft in the end. And remember, you want to cook this on a medium to medium high heat, because if you cook it too slow, the dal puri will dry out and it will actually get very hard on you. And today I'm just showing you guys a different way that you can oil your roti or your flatbreads. I'm using the back of a spoon today to go ahead and spread it around. But if you wanted to use a brush, you could do that. If you wanted to use a piece of paper towel to brush it on, you could do that. And you can even use the back of a flat cup or a mug to do it as well. Now, I will mention these dal puris do not puff up as much as the normal ones, just because of the stickiness of the split piece filling that we added in with the split piece powder. It won't puff up that much, but I promise you guys, it will still have a nice little pocket on the inside a little bit, and it will be nice and soft in the end. So just to give you guys a little recap of the whole cooking process, once you roll it out to your desired thickness, you're going to put it onto your tawa. Then you're going to oil the first side. You're going to go ahead and flip it over and oil it one more time. The reason you do this again is to keep it nice and soft. And if you wanted to, you could use any type of oil or even butter if you desire. I use vegetable oil in my kitchen, but if you wanted to use some coconut oil, olive oil, ghee, butter, some shortening or Crisco, whatever floats your boat, go ahead and do that. And as you guys can see, I'm gradually oiling it as I flip it. It's getting some nice brown spots. And in total, these Dhalpuri rotis probably take about a minute each to finish. Now this Dhalpuri actually puffed up a little more than some of my others. Again, these will not puff up as much as the regular ones, but some of them will puff up more than others, and some of them might not even puff up at all and just have little bubbles all around. Nonetheless, no matter how much your Dhalpuris puff up, these Dhalpuris take about half the time that the normal Dhalpuris take, and you get the same soft product, the same taste, and that silky lusciousness of a normal Dhalpuri with this version. So I hope you guys go ahead and try it. I served my Dhalpuri roti with some cabbage and chicken curry. It was to die for. It was amazing. And just look at the inside of this Dhalpuri. I'm going to have to go ahead and finish eating my food, and I'll leave you guys there. I hope you guys go ahead and try out this recipe. If you enjoyed it today, go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and leave all of your wonderful comments down below. Again, I hope you all are safe. I hope you all are staying home. Be well, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.